It was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense.
That's right, America. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Josh.
And we are brought to you, as always, by our merch shop. Coming out with some new items here pretty soon. Not new ideas, just new looking shirts.
New designs.
New
As you
designs.
can see in the updated merch thing, there's all kinds of designs because I get creative. It's all Kevin, though. It's all Kevin.
I do nothing. But buy our shit, because, we got to fund this thing somehow. I don't know if I'll remember to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. We were going to do a different episode today, but we had some news where we changed it. We were going to do something on the family dynamic and how that is, kind of, I don't know how it goes to the decline of America, but we changed that to Trump is found guilty in New York on all counts. All 34 counts he was found guilty. Josh, let's just jump right into this. What were your first thoughts when you found out the verdict?
That there are at least 12 people in New York that we know for sure that have water on the brain and probably ate a shit ton of lead chips when they were kids.
Yeah. I wasn't surprised, but I was still shocked it happened. I thought as bad as the trial went, there was no way. I thought maybe you found him guilty on one count, maybe two, but not all counts. I thought this was ridiculous because, Cohen was a disaster. He's pretty much lied to everybody he's ever talked to, and it's been proven. He stole money from Trump. Stormy Daniels was a disaster of a witness. The judge wouldn't let a federal prosecutor or whatever.
He's like a federal elections expert or procedural expert or something. Like, he'd be the guy you would want to give testimony. Not if you were the prosecutor, but
the prosecutor, if this was a legal fucking trial or not a sham trial.
Well, weren't the 33 counts the exact same count?
All of them. Every count was the same.
It was 3 charges per payment, I think. And there's 11 payments. So they found him, I guess they had to find him guilty on all 3 charges. If they found him guilty on all 3 charges on one, then you automatically get the 33. And then the other way it made him guilty is they also found him guilty for the 34th verdict that nobody knows what the hell that is.
I wonder why it took so long. Is my thing. I think there was probably one holdout,
There was a guy on Fox News yesterday that said that being this close to the weekend, that they'll probably hold out until Friday afternoon so they can get one more free lunch.
Probably.
That's
That seems
literally
like
a
a
thing.
yeah. That's probably, you know.
Here's what I don't get. So, granted, New Yorkers, you're based on your voting record, based on this jury, and based on the stuff that you see in live interviews in your city, most of you are really dumb, like obviously noticeably dumb. And it's no big surprise why your city is going to shit. But I would have like found him not guilty regardless of what I thought, just because I would be so pissed off that I lost that amount of time, almost a month out of my life for this obvious political bullshit. But they're like, "Oh no, we gotta do thing." It's like, I don't know, like,
Yeah,
it just shuts your brain
I
off.
just don't. It does. I don't understand. I just can't understand. This is. I'm trying to see if I want to say this now. So I'm just going to. There is no one to blame about this whole situation, how our country is, about these trials, more than Republicans. We've allowed this to happen.
Yes,
Conservative
we have, but I don't
Republicans,
understand what you mean.
we've allowed these beta males, beta women to.
They're not beta women, Kevin.
They are
Beta males, butch women.
butch women. Now, yeah, butch women. You're right. Butch women, beta males to infiltrate our society, to be the ones in control, and Republicans who are also mostly, I guess, beta males, because I think this country is ran by betas and it's nobody's fault. I mean, except for our own. And this is what you get. You get a sham fucking country, a sham republic, and you get a fucking banana republic bullshit trial type of shit. This is shit that happens in Venezuela, China, all these, or any third world country. This is what happens. And I think, who said it best? I think it was what's his name? Tucker Carlson said, when you import third world people, you import third world government. And that's what we've done.
The funny
And
thing is we voted that in. Like, it's granted, I'm sure there's plenty of illegals voting in federal elections, even though that obviously doesn't happen because we have the most secure elections in the history of the world. But like, Republicans used to think and put up with this shit because they're like, because either all politicians are either beta males or they're crooks. That's who you might have 10, 10 actual representatives in the entire of Washington, D.C. that aren't pieces of shit. And that's spread out between Democrats or Republicans, probably mostly on the Republicans, but they're either betas or they're crooks. And that's what and we can blame it on ourselves because like nobody, and you can blame it on yourself. You can't sit back and be like, well, I voted for Trump and I voted for this. I'm like, yeah, but like a lot of Republicans have stayed quiet. Like all this shit that's going on in schools, which has led to a lot of the youth vote that Biden got in 2020. That was from years of indoctrination going through schools.
yeah, school
Like
boards.
the time for sitting down, being quiet, and think it's going to pass over because the silent majority is going to come out on election day and vote. That's over. Because for one, if there still is a silent majority, they're not voting. I mean, I really would like to think that a majority of this country doesn't actually believe in even half of the dumbass shit that's been coming out in the last 5 years.
I don't think majority country does, but I don't think the majority country cares. And that's the problem. If the majority of the country does not care what happens, as long as it doesn't affect their daily life. Now,
It's
this is the
because
reason
of
I
on the
think
micro level, it doesn't bother them. Now, well, it hasn't bothered them. Now with mass inflation and all this shit and them starting to mess with people's kids and stuff, it's like now it's starting to hit them at home. But before
yeah,
that,
but
people were quiet because it didn't affect them directly.
Here's the problem, though. Like, it's too late. This shit's ingrained. I mean, it's harder to stop the boulder from rolling downhill than to have the boulder than to stop it from being pushed to the top. And we didn't stop it from pushing the boulder to the top. We're just trying to stop the boulder from like crushing everyone. And it's too late. The boulder's downhill. It's gaining momentum.
Well, no, we've lost a generation.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, this generation, thank God people aren't having, this generation isn't having kids. Maybe their kids can reset. Or, you know.
I don't know. I don't know. This should make everybody feel uneasy.
Why wouldn't it? This was a political hit job done through what's supposed to be the greatest judicial system in the world. And we just found out the judicial system is complete. I think we all knew the judicial system was flawed, but it was supposed to be a fair judicial system. There isn't supposed to be biasy on it as a judge. There isn't supposed to be biasy on, as a juror. You're supposed to be able to take yourself apart from what happens, or if you can't, you don't be a juror. You say this. Hey, no, I don't like Trump. Okay, you're out. I mean, you're supposed to be honest about this shit. It's your civil duty. I mean, it's disgusting. It's wrong, and America's failing. And I'm glad I'm 40 and going to be dead in 20 years.
High aspirations.
I don't have to watch the complete collapse of the nation.
I'm surprised you pay Social Security since you've already made the decision that you're not going to collect any, even if you could. When we got to,
I don't have the choice to pay Social Security. They take it on my fucking taxes.
By the time we get to Social Security age, it'll probably be bumped up to like 80.
Well, fun fact I learned today.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Pennsylvania has a huge amount of lithium.
Oh.
Yeah, from all the fracking. They're finding the runoff has a ton of lithium in it, and they can get about a ton of it a day, just by trapping it. Is
lithium a metal, a chemical, or what the hell is it?
I don't know. It's in phones and shit, so I'm not quite sure.
I mean, I know lithium batteries, lithium-ion batteries, but I don't know what the hell it is.
I don't either.
It's magic.
It is magic, but they can get it out of the water, so I don't think it's a mineral. I think it's some type of mineral. I just don't know.
That is because we live in the land of milk and honey, Kevin, and right now we are shitting in the honey and pissing in the milk.
It's just funny, all these anti-frackers, and now look at it. Because of fracking.
Oh, now I can make more batteries for my electric car.
Like, it's going to supply at least half of America's lithium needs.
That's actually pretty cool, because that will definitely hinder China, which I'm pretty sure we will be in a world war with probably them and Russia probably in the next 10 years. Probably faster if Trump doesn't win in November. We'll probably be in a world war within the next 4 years.
I would guess so.
There's too much ratcheting up. That's why China's building up all those coal plants and buying up all these lithium mines and everything, so they can't be cut off through
and fast tracking carriers.
But they have the world's largest navy.
Yep.
I'm not saying that we couldn't wipe half of it out like really fast, but
we still have the biggest aircraft carriers. But I think they still have the largest navy. But I think most of their navy is coastal.
Yeah, their navy isn't. We're the only, from my understanding, we're the only military on the planet that can operate on every continent in the United States. Yeah. So. I mean, I would think that if World War III kicks off and we're like going against China, Russia, the super black type of technology will probably be released.
You would think so.
May not even know about it. It might be like, wow, there's stuff magically exploding, and
that or those are the people fucking pushing the buttons to have World War happen anyways.
Well, yeah, just so they can use them. Then like, oh no, China paint all the roofs blue. We're fucked.
All right. I can't use the laser this week.
Damn it.
Somebody fly over and drop a bunch of red paint. All right, let's get back to the topic. That's probably what people want to hear anyways. What does this mean going forward for the election?
Well, it depends on. I mean, I'm assuming because Trump went to a fundraiser tonight, but I'm assuming he's going to be hitting the campaign trail pretty hard. If he gets put under house arrest, I cannot see that judge being dumb enough to try to put him in jail. But you never know. I mean, I didn't think he would get found guilty either. So that's why I don't gamble, Kevin, because I'm fucking horrible. I might have to go back to the other podcast. I might owe you something.
You might, because I'm pretty sure I bet you he would get found guilty in this trial.
Yeah, but I'm really horrible at betting, so I may have been.
I don't know if
no,
you bet me or I think you might
I'm not
going to
bet
dumb.
anything. But
I think he called me dumb because this was the worst trial because they didn't.
If you happen to remember whether or not Kevin and I bet each other over it, comment below. See, I think it's going to be a bump for Trump, and if Biden's stupid enough to try to run, saying, "Oh, felon Trump the felon," blah blah blah, I don't think that's going to do anything but hurt him. Yeah, you're going to charge up the small percentage of just ignorant, either live off the government or totally indoctrinated dipshits that are like, yeah, finally justice for the man who made our economy strong and the world safer. That asshole can no longer do those horrible things. But it doesn't seem like, so I guess currently as it stands right now, he's a convicted felon, but apparently you can be the president if you're a convicted felon.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anything, it's want to help Trump. I think everybody knows what this is. Everybody knows this was a sham trial. This is the judicial system's broken. I think everybody can figure that out. If you're an independent and you were wondering who should I vote for, this should change your mind. Because everything Democrats say that one person is doing is what they want or have done. What they want to do or have done. So when they say Trump will be a dictator, wrong, you're seeing a dictatorship happening in front of you. Because only in dictatorships do you persecute and prosecute your political opponents. You don't do that in a democracy or a republic like we are. Those things should not happen unless you're a banana republic. Then yes. Then you're not truly a republic. You're Ukrainian republic.
Yeah, we got to fight for freedom and democracy. Oh, by the way, I'm suspending elections until further notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think...
which is a good point. So, just saying... now, I won't bring up another subject. We talked about it just for everybody before we started the show, but Biden, right after the verdict announcement, Biden now has authorized Ukraine to use U.S. weapons to fire into Russia, which, that's a pretty big step.
Yeah, I think...
so will he be like, oh, now we're in a world war?
That's how you get into a world war.
Yeah, but we're in a world war, and I have to be president. We don't have to pause elections.
We've had elections.
Oh, I know, but I can see them trying this bullshit.
Oh, I can see that too. But
we've had elections during wars.
But they have said that Trump will try to stay past his time. So that's exactly what they will try to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because if Trump gets reelected and he does what he said he's going to do, and we already know he's capable of at least making things better, but let's say he does do a great job, makes things great, he'll literally at that point be a kingmaker. Whoever he picks to pass the torch off to, that's who's going to be the next president. Because if he does his job correctly, he's going to wipe out all the bullshit that's going on. I don't know if you heard that lady. Is it Tina Bream? She's on Fox. She's on Fox News. She's naked, but she was like, I think she's a little bit of a lib because she kept saying, "Oh yeah, but granted, you want to play both sides of the fence and all that, and be the devil's advocate." But she kept saying, "Well, yeah, but Trump has all this baggage and blah, blah, blah." And it's like, Trump doesn't have any fucking baggage. Trump has all the bullshit that the Democrats did to him during the election, during his administration, and after. Trump doesn't have fucking baggage. And anybody who brings it up as an excuse is just like, okay, way to go, dumbass. You're doing exactly what the Democrats want you to do.
Exactly. You know, and you're right. If Trump actually even begins to fix this country, the next person he's going to pick is going to be the man or woman, I guess, to succeed him.
It'll probably be Nikki Haley, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. I hope not. But
she's going to have a place in my administration. We're going to bring back the butt wiper.
I was listening to Vivek Ramaswamy on Matt Walsh today.
It's Yavek Rotten Salami.
Yavek Rotten Salami. But I was listening to him on Matt Walsh. It was Matt Walsh show. He was good. I liked what he had to say.
I heard him on the Sean Connery show. And I, too, liked what he had to say.
Yeah. He talks
He has
a
a good point. Like, even like his thing about abolishing the FBI. Oh, what we do? Use the U.S. Marshals.
Yeah.
U.S. Marshals are the same thing as the FBI. I think they're just tasked with different. You take all the agents, field agents that aren't pieces of shit, you transfer them over to the U.S. Marshals, and you get rid of the FBI. And then I would just do what Trump already did in his last administration. You can the CIA. Trump used independent contractors for all of his intelligence, which apparently is a thing. Which I think we brought up on the show before, but
I liked how he said, any graduate, if you want to vote, should have to pass a third grade civics test.
Yeah.
The basic civics test. He's like, people who want to be citizens who come from other countries have to pass these civic tests. So they have to get a 60% score on it. Why shouldn't we make that a thing for our citizens?
Because one of your right as being an American citizen by birth, Kevin, is the right to be stupid.
I guess. And look where that's got us. Look where that has got us to where me and you are somehow, well, we're not popular, I can tell you that.
You'd almost think
we're on the internet.
Well, that's true.
And
where anybody can talk.
Some people, Sometimes people listen to us, and there's, and just look at people anymore. I mean, it's bad.
It's starting to get to the point where I feel like the script from Idiocracy was actually like lost pages from Revelations.
It might be. Fuck.
Because holy crap.
So, I mean,
I need to go back and watch that movie just so I can get some look ahead for what's coming.
Yeah. Except for it was, I don't know. It's just very frustrating. It's a very frustrating day.
Kevin, we're in the beginning times of Idiocracy.
I know.
We're
Again,
a stone.
Glad I'm in my 40s, going to be dead in 20 years.
Well, there you go. We're only a stone throws away from watering our crops with Gatorade. So,
Rondo.
It was
Brondo, wasn't it?
I don't know. I've seen that movie,
but it has electrolytes, so.
I've literally seen that movie once, and I saw it the Tuesday it came out on DVD.
Yeah, it has electrolytes. It's cool, man. That's So, all right. A little more of the meta, I guess, or the what does this mean? What did this conviction mean for the country?
The only thing country-wise I see it being is it's just another example. Well, not example's not the word, I guess. Kind of. Well, it's another example of why people are losing faith in our judicial system. And the problem with that is once people have lost faith in the judicial system, what's to stop people from giving a shit anymore or not giving a shit? It's like, well, I don't live in a free country anymore. I'm not going to get a fair trial. What the fuck?
Anarchy.
Yeah, that's what leads to anarchy. Like, that's how you have like these countries like Haiti with all these splinter cells and gangs and rebels and all this shit. And it's like, oh, well, let's just take them to the courts. What do the courts mean? It's like we were watching this episode on I don't know, one of the ABC or MSNBC guys spent like a week in prison, and he was hearing all the woe is me stories from all the fucking criminals in there, and he's like, the population of the criminals, the blacks, the whites, and what that was, and it's like, and there are people that committed crimes and they're, juveniles and they got life sentences and blah
They
blah
committed
blah.
crimes.
Well, and they're like, and a lot of these people may have changed, but it's like I'm sitting here thinking, and here's the ironic thing, how I brought it up. The first person they started this new thing. So if you're a juvenile, if you were got a life sentence as a juvenile, you can have your case re-looked at and released. And this dude had to have powerful parents, or parents knew somebody, because the first person released was a white dude who murdered his girlfriend, tried to dismember her body and burn it. And he was the first fucker they left out. And they have these other dudes, these black dudes that have been incarcerated for like 50, 60 years. Now, the one guy, they kept denying his parole, and he pretty well figured he killed a cop, but it seemed like he shouldn't have had a gun, but it seemed like he got startled and shot at what he thought was, whatever. But it's just like, even when you have criminal reform, it's like, really? You let this white douchebag out that tried to dismember and burn a body?
Yeah. I mean,
he should not be left out because, they've changed this or that. I'm like, yeah, well, they've changed. What's not going to change is the person they killed is still dead.
Yes, and they knew what they did because they tried to cover up the murder. When you try to
they've changed over time. We shouldn't punish them for life. I'm like, that person they killed was punished for life because their life's over.
Well, I mean, I can understand if it's like, I don't know, an accident, like you were startled or something, or I don't know.
Well, and you can tell, like, if somebody's like, I mean, these guys are all older. I think one of the guys that got released died like shortly after he got released, but he was like, oh, and this guy's dying of cancer and blah blah. Like, it was a total woe is me people in prison, and it's like, yeah, and like I said last week, I get why sometimes people, break the law, but you broke the law, you go to fucking jail.
Yeah, stop breaking the law.
So I don't know, because they said they released a bunch of people on nonviolent things. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but they need to but then they say, oh, we need to do we need to do more rehabilitation. And that's what all this stuff's going to lead to, because this will eventually lead to some type of anarchy. But the reason why we have so many repeat offenders is because they probably don't do the best job preparing guys who've been in jail for a while to get a job. There is a stigma about being a convict. I mean, I don't care. I'll hire an ex-con as long as, I give anybody a chance once. But like they keep saying, oh, we need to rehabilitate instead of incarcerate. That depends on the individual, because there's rehabilitation programs in most prisons. If the individual doesn't want to rehabilitate, then they're not. So I don't know. Every system in this country seems fucked up, and I'm not exactly sure what we do to fix it.
I don't know. This country, what does this mean for this country? I mean, it means this country is failing, and that's all this means. This country has been failing for 10, 15, 20 years. This country has been, I would say, from 2008 on, this country has been failing.
Really, Kevin, you're going to blame it on Obama?
I am blaming it on Obama.
The guy who ignited the 21st century's race war.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you could even say, I mean, if you really want to go to it, maybe 2004, but I mean, with Bush's second term. But I actually feel like after 9/11, the country came together. I mean, the country was as united.
I think the prolonged wars and all that shit wore people out, and then Obama got in it. You can actually see a turning point. Like Obama's presidency, that is really where he got in there. He was a fucking hardcore leftist, and he got a lot of his shit put in, and that's really where the country took a hard left turn.
Well, he made
Clinton kind of tried to be, but he was like, "Oh fuck, I'm not gonna get reelected."
Yeah. Then he changed to a centrist. So,
which is funny, on your second term, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, he tried to reach over to the Republican to the Republicans more on his second term than he did on his first.
You can argue the Republicans half-ass started this shit with that stupid ass impeachment they did.
Yeah,
That was dumb.
that was dumb. But no, this country's failing. That's it. This country is failing, and it's rotting from within. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't.
They already said that. They said that the only way you'll ever take down America is from the inside. And
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
they're
it's
doing.
just too far gone. I think I don't. We were.
It's too far gone in order to correct the country without there being some kind of. It's going to be rough. Can the country be turned around and made better?
But here's the
Yes.
problem: is can you? Yes. Will people put in the effort? No. People are fat, fucking, lazy pieces of shit, and that is America. To where if it's going to get hard on them, they're not going to do it. They're not. It's just how America is. They've grown. Americans have grown accustomed to an easier lifestyle. You don't see. You know why there's not going to be probably a civil war in America? Because people are fucking lazy.
It's funny though too. Like that's why, like back in the day, you know, only landowners could vote because you had like skin in the game contributors. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm cool with people who live off the teat having a say in how that teat runs.
I mean that you'd have to change something. Either civilian status, like your civilian status A, or civilian status B.
Oh, kind of like if you don't serve the military, then you're not a citizen. Like in what's the movie, Kevin? Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers, yeah.
That way we'll have hello, citizen, hello, douche.
Yeah, I'm just saying, yeah. Like maybe you shouldn't be able to vote if you don't
The
have
problem
a
is
job.
something like that's not going to happen until something really bad happens. I'm talking about full on societal collapse happens, like either civil war.
I don't see how that'll how far we're off from that.
Well, depending on your next question is about how far off we are from it.
I'm going to put two of these questions together.
Oh.
Is this the tipping point to the fall of our republic, and how close are we to a communist state after this happened?
As far as the status quo goes, yes, this is a tipping point. We are edging closer to communism, but as long as the Second Amendment is in place, that'll never happen. And as soon as they abolish the Second Amendment and try to forcefully institute communism is when there will be a lot of violence. I know a lot of people talk a lot of shit, but there are oh, this, that. But there are a lot of people on both sides of the aisle in this country that still believe in the country, believe in their freedoms, and will fucking make it a little rough.
How far do you think the American people can be pushed?
I don't know. I think we're getting close to a breaking point because I was afraid that after this shit came out, this stuff was going to get a little rascally.
I'm surprised nothing has happened. There was an active shooter in Milwaukee, but I think that was just a crazy.
Probably a left-wing person.
Yeah. Probably super happy Trump got put away.
Well, Republicans are more...
them decided to go kill people.
Yeah. Non-left people are more controlled and self-aware and less powered by emotion. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you get what Biden calls basically domestic terrorists, which called half the fucking country that, I think at this point it's over half, like the MAGA people, like, if you actually push that side to where they're going to turn, it's going to get fucking horrible. And I really hope stuff gets turned around in our systems to where that doesn't happen, because that would be stupid too. I'm not saying, like, if somebody tried to came in and actually institute communism here, then yes, you shoot those commies in the face. That's what Americans do. They kill communists. We made a pretty good sport out of it for quite a long time, and are not really sure why we got out of it.
I don't either.
It's like you want to be communist, you can even be your own little communist self and talk and blah blah blah. But as soon as you start pressing that shit on the American people, that's when it's time to see if you can, make it with more than one breathing hole.
I just, what do we got left? Is the Georgia one still going?
Yeah, it's still up in the air. It got pushed.
Yeah, and the Florida one got pushed indefinitely. So you still got the J6 one, right?
Yeah, that got pushed too.
Okay. So basically, this was it.
Well, I think some of them they're waiting to see what the Supreme Court says on the immunity.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this. Will this become a norm in politics?
I hope to God it doesn't. I really, honestly hope it doesn't. I can't stand Joe Biden. I think he's a crook. I think he deserves to be in jail. But, if he committed a crime and he gets convicted, okay, so if he commits a crime as president, as we were talking before the show, and he gets impeached, and then the Senate finds him guilty, and what do you call that when you throw him out of office? I mean, it's removed. There's an actual word for it, but ousted.
Ousted.
But then at that point, then what he committed a crime for, he should be charged for it. I do not want to see every president who goes in, I don't care if it's Republican or Democrat, being charged and having to go through all this bullshit, because then you're just putting fertilizer on the old banana trees.
Yup. Agreed.
And that's the big difference between Republicans and Democrats.
Put on the old bathroom break music. And we're back. And I hope this doesn't become the norm in politics as well. I think everybody can see what kind of BS this is. I hope Republicans don't stoop to this level. I hope this doesn't happen again on the Democrat side. I hope everyone can figure out. I hope this backfires so gigantically in their face and they lose by a landslide because of this that this will be thrown out of their playbook.
In the Senate and the House, as well as the presidency. I hope it's just a not even a red asteroid extinction level to any left-wing ideology event.
Which I hope, but I don't know, because sounds like Biden's not doing well in the old polls. He's minus 18 right now to Trump.
The problem is, though, they're painting everything as Biden.
I know,
but there are a few Republicans that do paint it as the Democrats.
The problem is the down ballot people are still doing well, like the down ballot Democrats.
Yeah, it's because people are dumb.
People are dumb. They don't understand this isn't Biden. Biden's a feeble old man who shits himself, and he's not controlling this country. It's the Democratic leadership, the DNC, his advisors who are doing all this. And people are just like, oh, it's Biden. Now, the guy can't put 2 cents together. This guy is not ruining this country.
Well, that's why people can't go to the polls this fucking election like they did in 2022 over their lustful love of fucking murdering babies.
Josh.
Because you can't give these far less an inch. That's what we gave when they did the whole, oh yeah, safe, rare, and legal. And now it's contemplating whether or not they should be able to kill a baby post-birth. That's what you get. You can't give them an inch. And if your priorities are so fucked up that that's what you vote on, which is why a lot of the down balloting is strong for Democrats in both state and federal, is because there's a bunch of people that are literally going and voting purely on their vote to be able to stay irresponsible, because you're not virgin fucking married. You didn't accidentally wake up fucking pregnant.
Nope. Yeah, so you're voting to murder something.
That's a huge driver. That's what stopped the red wave in 2022.
Oh, I know.
It's like, oh no, I don't want to be responsible. I just want to keep murdering babies. We are not everybody, and I would hope not a majority, but as on the outside looking in, We are a pathetic country when it comes to our culture.
We're immoral as shit.
I can see why there are countries that do whatever they can to stop American influence from getting into their countries. Because holy shit. And everybody think, oh, those poor Russian people, they hear nothing but propaganda and they're always lied to. We are the most propagandized people on the planet.
Yeah, and we're constantly being lied to.
I don't understand how many people fall for this shit. Like when they said when the whole COVID thing came out, they came out with like statistics. It was like 30 or 40% right off the bat. I can do whatever believe whatever they're told.
Yep.
I don't get that.
No, I'm
Maybe
always
it's because we're
question.
not that way, but
I'm always going to question something. Which I also want to do about a show, just because he said that. I want to do a show about vaccines and medication of children.
yeah.
That'd be a pretty good show.
There's a lot of info on that we should probably look into before we do that.
Yeah, it seems like something maybe you'll ask the questions and I'll do the research.
Yeah. That way I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you can just react off of my answers.
Other than edit the entire show and do everything else.
Well, yeah, but I'm the research
We
guy.
both have our roles to play, Kevin. I do my best to edit the podcast to make you look stupid and me smart, and you actually know all the shit, and I don't.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter.
It's just good old-fashioned American propaganda.
Good old editing.
See? They don't know. I'm the dumb one.
All right, last question, then we will go to our normal programming. Is this the only way the Democrats thought they had a chance to win this year? Do you think this is the way they thought they were going to get Biden reelected, was to get Trump convicted on something, on one of these 4 trials?
See, I would say yes, but at the same time, you know that Carville guy? He looks like Mr. Clean's great.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. He talks like a Southerner, like he should be he sounds like
he's
he should be
hardcore left.
Oh, I know, but he sounds like he should be a Republican
because he came
just
out
the way he talks and looks. I was like, oh, that guy's a Republican. No,
he
he's
just recently came
leftist.
out and said that the Democrats' talking points are stupid or they have no position. And I think he always played the game for the Democrat Party, but I think he's probably more of a real, actual Democrat, not a left wing dipshit. I've never been able to stand the guy, but they know that this is not a winning strategy. Like I don't. It's kind of like they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place, and they don't know what to do, so they're doing this, which is so horrible for the fucking country.
Yeah,
but it's like there's no way this works.
No,
so I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
If there was like people are like, oh well, I still think if
I'm sure there's a lot of money involved with people that are dumb enough to think, oh, this might work.
Oh, I'm sure.
I guarantee you that judge is getting some cash.
Oh yeah, and I'm guaranteed. But what's funny is the amount of money I guarantee Trump raised today is astronomical.
I hope so.
I know one guy. I saw like 3 or 4 guys on Twitter. One guy donated $300,000. Another guy said he donated the max amount he could to Trump. Like that the website would allow him to donate. Like there's all kinds of people. They're getting tons of people just donating $5, $10, $25. All these people are just donating a shit ton of money to him. If what this did was, if it did anything, it energized the MAGA crowd or the right,
MAGA,
the Republican base. Like even the fucking slobbing fucking, piece of shit Republicans are even on, like the rhinos. They're even saying that, this was a sham trial and this shouldn't have happened.
You can blame the rhinos for part of this. Like that.
Oh, you can blame the rhinos for
when
most
you
of this.
appease the left.
Yeah.
Trying to be buddies.
Yeah. And I hope the speaker, Mike Johnson, isn't it Mike Johnson?
Yes. He's a douche.
He is a douche, and he keeps appeasing to the left. I'd be like, fuck you, this is what we're doing, or nothing gets passed. I'm not kowtowing to you Democrat scum any longer.
Well, the funny thing is he sits there and talks that people give a shit like they think, oh no, we got to get work done. We can do no. You fuckers could literally do nothing, and we'd probably be.
It'd be better
off
for the
it.
country. We have to get some money to Ukraine and Israel. We don't have to do shit.
Well, and I wasn't a huge fan of him. I mean, he was kind of stable or whatever, but when he endorsed the sitting rhino in whatever district San Antonio's in, I was like, okay.
Oh, Gonzalez?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe that dude won.
Did he? Did he win the runoff?
He won.
Well, San Antonio, and I think Austin might be part of that, but San Antonio is not exactly.
Yeah, they're not exactly MAGA.
Yeah, I mean, that guy literally voted, like, he ran as a Republican, won, and, well, they're just the same thing. They just gaslight the shit out of everybody. Oh, no, I care about the border. And then people don't look up his voting record. And then he was out. So they spent a ridiculous amount of money in Texas to get that guy reelected. Like, you got to think they're going up against a YouTuber that just did a grassroots campaign, and they spent millions of dollars to keep this dude in his place. What are you doing?
My Alexa just turned off for no reason.
Who cares?
Well, if I say something, she might say something back to me.
Oh,
it's the NSA listening. No.
That's true. And they are your friends.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's going to unplug you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unplug your ears, you bitch.
Now listen to me, NSA. Just because I'm putting everything out on the internet. Yeah, I can't believe that guy won. I don't care if it wasn't a grassroots guy. That dude was a piece of shit. And that's who I was wondering if it was your district, but I guess it wasn't.
No, my district's got some like rear admiral dude from the Navy. Votes conservative. He's pretty far on the liberty scale, but just nobody knows him. Hell, I didn't even know who he was. I want every representative from Texas to be loud and annoying.
Yeah, and they should be like fucking yeehawed up.
I know Ted Cruz is my senator.
Yeah.
I had to look up who my congressman was, and I shouldn't have to do that.
No.
So, yeah, I don't know. That was disappointing. The guy's got rape neck. If I was that guy, I would run again. I would run every 2 years. Even though now Gonzalez has got his. Here's the thing: if you hate Congress or whatever, and you're a congressman, unless he or she is well known for like doing what's right, which is only like probably about the 8 to 10 people I was talking about. If they've been in Congress for more than 3 terms, don't vote for them.
Exactly.
It's like you keep voting for the same stupid ass shit. I'm like, vote for a different one.
The most ridiculous thing this is the dumbest stat is Congress constantly has a below 20% approval rating. It's usually around 10 to 14% approval. And yet nothing fucking changes.
Yeah.
It's like
the whole my guy thing.
We're fucking retarded. I'm sorry, America. We're fucking retarded. And I'm putting the hard R on that. We're the dumbest goddamn people in the world. We bitch about everything. We want everything. We do nothing to change anything. We're the laziest, dumbest people the world has ever produced.
Well, and it's because times have been really good, and it doesn't just make weak men. Apparently, it makes really stupid fucking people.
Yeah, exactly.
Cancel culture had a big thing to do with that because people would stay quiet because they were like, there are certain areas you can have a job in where you could lose your job.
Yeah, I'm guaranteeing that by now.
If we worked at Google, we'd be fired.
Oh, yeah. If we worked anywhere in a fucking, probably any big city, we'd be fired. Easily. There is no way we could have this show. We would have to be making money off this show.
We'd be in HR like every other week.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would have been that for the show.
So I listened to this week's podcast, and I have some critiques.
Say it in the comments, Patty.
Why'd you come into your office? That's what the comments are for, dick.
That's what the comment section's for, you a-hole.
It's like,
You know,
how some
boost
people
our
have a
shit.
personnel file. You have a personnel box of complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah, which means I'm doing my job.
So yeah, again, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please.
Be
I
cool.
guess. Yeah. Don't be a dick. So that's all I had. Let's move on. Do you want to, yeah, we should probably do at least a few of these, huh? I don't know how long we're running actually.
I don't either. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. All right, next section.
Winners and losers of the week, baby.
Oh yeah.
In my book, you're a winner too.
I think you're a loser.
So we'll do this kind of. I'll do.
You're gonna have to go first in both.
Okay. I will do. Do you want to do my loser then your winner? All right. So my loser of the week is Robert De Niro. I don't know if any of you saw it, but he was pretty much. I don't know, man. It's like
He got flown into New York City to help. That's why they said that Biden was definitely using Trump's legal issues to help try to campaign.
Well, I
because
know.
they flew him into New York City
Yeah, but
specifically to campaign for Biden.
You have a geriatric freaking campaigning for a geriatric, and I mean, he sounded ridiculous. He
He has
like,
for years.
I know, and he sounds like a left wing nut job. And he was like, yeah, you want things, you want the follow democracy, yeah, that's what you're going to get with Trump. As he's on trial by fucking for political gain. I mean, this
Robert
you
De
can't
Niro's not
make
the
this
smartest
up.
guy.
You can't make this type of fucking hypocrisy and blinders up. I mean, it's so fucking dumb. You have to be the biggest fucking moron to stand outside a courthouse where the guy you're campaigning for, his political opponent, is in court for a BS fucking reason, and you're just going to fucking be like, oh, yeah, he's the guy that's going to be a dictator. I mean,
Well, yeah, that's what. Well, and the
And
funny
that's-
thing is like I don't understand like what Trump did to rub that dude the heart. Like he must have just really been jonesing to get him some Hillary Clinton.
I was listening to
I don't get it.
listen-
That dude has been hardcore anti-Trump since Trump got elected, and I do not understand it.
I guess when I was listening to Trump Jr.'s podcast a little bit or whatever. He was on Rumble live after the conviction was read. So I was listening to a little bit of that, and he's like, "Yeah, when my dad, he went up the elevator. We're all in the family. We're in the elevator before he went down the escalator. He's like, we're gonna find out who my friends are because he was friends with celebrities, all these musicians, everybody. He was big in Hollywood. From The Apprentice and all that shit. He was a Democrat for years. He's like, we'll find out who my friends are. And immediately when he ran as a Republican, they all switched.
Well, at least he called it early.
Yeah. All right, Josh, who's your winner?
My winner is the Robert De Niro hecklers, because apparently he got into it with at least 4 people who basically told him that he's a washed-up hack and just yelled at him. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. What are some of the other stuff people said, Kevin?
One woman said that Robert De Niro's mom should have swallowed him.
I'll be surprised if, I just think that, when these dipshits, because Robert De Niro literally thinks that, I guarantee you're not that bombastically stupid unless you think you're right. And it's nice for that piece of shit to get out of his little glass house and hear from people and get a reality check.
Yeah, then
He was mad.
Yeah, there's another guy that because they brought 2 Capitol policemen with them, 2 guys who blatantly lied under oath and was proven to lie under oath under the video, but nothing happened to them for lying under oath. No perjury charge there. But they were caught lying under oath because the video evidence disproved what they said. So one guy called those 2 traitors, and Robert De Niro went off of them because he tried to say that they were victims. They're like, no, they're traitors. They lied under oath.
Well, that's what happens when you run into educated populace.
Yeah.
You get your shit checked.
All right, Josh. Who's your loser?
My loser of the week, unfortunately, is Israel, which they could be uh, loser of the month, year. It's just this. I was thinking about this after I edited and uh, uploaded the podcast. I can't believe we didn't talk about this because this is the biggest example of misplaced accountability, where the whole world is looking at Israel and blaming Israel for all this shit when they're literally like the people at fault are Hamas. Hamas started it. Hamas is keeping it going. If you wanted this war to end, the world would be pushing the pussies that are Hamas to give up. You know what? And they're probably not even going to be executed. They're just going to be thrown in prison. I'm
How the
like,
fuck did we not think of this example?
I don't know, but it's the worst example. It's like Germany coming out saying, "Oh yes, we would support Bibi Netanyahu being, arrested and tried, and we have places for the Jews. We have places." I'm like, okay, Germany, you need to keep your fucking mouth shut and not chirp up on anything. You literally started two of the two world wars. Nobody's listening to the dipshits that got their ass kicked twice sitting
Yeah.
in the back seat.
I guess one of Biden's advisors was on some podcast or something. She said that their biggest goal with the Israel and Hamas war was to get Bibi Netanyahu out of power.
That's because BB. Now he's been in power for a long time, but he's definitely right leaning.
Yeah.
Obama didn't like him.
But
Biden
I mean,
doesn't like him.
but he's part of a war cabinet, and half the war cabinet's made up of the left, and the right and the left both agree that Hamas needs to be destroyed and taken out. Like,
Yeah, now I'm not
Netanyahu's
exactly
not doing this on his own.
no. He's basically a prime minister is a mouthpiece
Yeah,
for the
he's not controlling
parliament
this.
and all that shit. It's like, now I don't know if it was allowed to happen or what. I do think with Israel's heightened security and all that stuff, October 7th was kind of weird that it happened the way it did. But Hamas attacked him, came in, murdered
Well, they hit him
thousands,
on a Jewish holiday.
kidnapped him. Yeah. Like they did some fucked up shit. And then they retreated back with hostages, and they've always hidden behind people. They act like they're these
video
badass...
footage of them doing it.
That was released, and it's like
They
always
released
act
it.
like they're these badass, warriors, and they're not. They hide behind innocent people. So it's like, oh, they're killing innocent people. That's because of Hamas. Hamas is doing that. Hamas is responsible for everything, and through Hamas, so is Iran. And I'm tired of hearing people talk about Israel needs to be blah blah blah, this or that. It's like the fact that Israel hasn't wiped Gaza off the map years ago is a testament to how peaceful of a nation they actually are. I mean, when you have a foreign, I mean, Hamas was the government. So you have a foreign government right on your border who's constantly shelling you with rockets, and his entire mission is to wipe you off the planet, and you just go by the live and let live. I mean, and then people still talk shit about him. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that was probably the biggest example that we stepped right over in last week's episode.
Yeah. And we'll have more on Israel here on the happenings of the week. My winner, being we kind of did this weird, is Scotty Scheffler, #1 world golfer, who was weirdly detained, arrested and detained during the World Cup or some golf event. And so the cop was pretty much just an asshole. And one of them cops that have like a power trip type of cop, like this guy had a list of like citations and like stuff that he abused his power. So all the charges on Scotty Scheffler were dropped. So thank God a rich white man finally gets off of
Finally found
justice. So that's why he's my winner of the week.
Well, you know what? You got to call out the bad cops, Kevin.
All right. Now it's time for the old Trump truth.
Trump truth of the week.
What I say is what I say.
All right. Well, this one happened moments after his verdict was released. And Trump truth. My civil rights have been totally violated with this highly political, unconstitutional, and election interfering witch hunt. Our failing nation is being laughed at all over the world.
Well, looks like Kevin learned from my mistake on how to properly read all capitalized
Yeah,
truths.
you got to yell it. So sorry for blowing out your car stereo speakers there. But, you know, that's what Trump wrote it like. That's how I'm saying it.
And that was the Trump truth of the week.
What I say is what I say.
Boop, boop. All right. Now for happenings of the week.
What's happening?
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening?
What's happening?
What is happening?
Probably skip over the first one.
Yeah, the first one we just kind of, Trump trial deliberations. That I didn't know if we were going to get to that today or not, or if that was actually the verdict was going to come down today. So back to Israel. The world falsely accuses Israel of bombing civilians. So what happened was they shot a missile off, as a very small missile, killed two Hamas leaders, or Hamas people. But Hamas, they always stick their weapons right next to like civilian centers, and they hit a weapons depot as well. Like part of the shrapnel hit some weapons depot, and it exploded. Like there's a bunch of secondary explosions, and that's actually what killed the civilians. So it's not,
i.e., Hamas killed
Hamas did it. So again, Hamas is a horrible terrorist group. Recognized throughout the world as a terrorist group. Egypt doesn't let them in. Jordan doesn't let them in. There's no one in the fucking Middle East letting Hamas into their country. They're not letting Palestinians into their country. You know why? Because Hamas people will just sneak in with them. Because they're a terrorist country. If you run a country and you're a terrorist group, that country is a terror country. I'm sorry. Them and Iran. So, I want to put the Ayatollahs have congratulated that, the Ayatollahs of Iran have supported the college kids of the United States for standing up for Hamas. So that's when you're on the right side, when Iran is saying, hey, good job.
The sad and pathetic thing is, I'm betting there's some of these dipshit protesters that looked at that and like, oh my God, it's working. It's working.
So ridiculous. All right, next one. Unless you want to have anything on those two.
No, I mean, we kind of covered the other one. You might as well read the next two in a row.
Yes. Trans woman stabs teen girls, then stabs two other people. So a trans woman, that's dude, a man. Right? That's a dude that wants to be a woman. Then a trans man threatens to kill Tennessee governor and wife, plus called two schools and said she was going to kill them.
Do you have any context to any of this? Like, why did the man stab the teen girl?
No one knows. This went crazy.
Wow. They probably didn't. You know what happened is they didn't accept him as a woman, and he probably got pissed off about it.
He stabbed, I think he killed somebody, drove to a movie theater, watched in the movie theater, didn't pay for a ticket, just walked into a theater, stabbed four girls between the ages of 9 and 17, got out, left, then went somewhere else and stabbed two more people, then was finally caught.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
And I think the Tennessee thing is because of that, I don't know. You know how Tennessee had that big trans ban or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm guessing that's why.
But trans people aren't violent. Yeah. Taking a bunch of
because they're mentally stable. Mentally stable are always
It's totally mentally stable to think that you're the opposite sex that you were born as. and taking hormone drugs that's not going to fuck with your brain whatsoever.
Yep. What else I got here? Anything else you got? I mean, I'm gonna read the next ones, but do you have anything on those two
Not
trans?
those two. No.
All
I
right.
didn't even know that happened. That was news to me of this week.
Let's see. This is what I do with my day. I can't make little shirts and stuff. I gotta read Twitter or X. All right. Pro Hamas protesters set fire to Israel embassy in Mexico because, again, I don't want to keep harping on this Israel thing, but I feel like the amount of Jew hate going on is pretty sickening. The anti-Semitism is weird. There's only 40,000 Jews in all of Mexico.
I don't understand the whole worldwide anti-Semitism, especially after the Holocaust. Now, granted, you got dipshits that say, "Oh, that never happened. That's just propaganda." Blah blah blah, which is literally why Roosevelt said to film and take pictures of all of it. It was either Roosevelt or Eisenhower, but whoever was the president when I think it was Roosevelt. But when they invaded Germany and found all these camps, they wanted pictures of all this because he's like, no, people will deny this happened, which is why we got video and photographic evidence that it did in fact happen. I don't know what the deal is with that. It's funny too because I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I'm not really surprised about the Mexico thing though, because everybody goes to Mexico to get to the U.S.
Well, that's true.
So I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch of
terrorists over there.
Yeah, so I'm guessing there's terrorists over there, and they just happen to be walking by the embassy and like, I don't like that, and decided to firebomb it.
Your star's got too many points on it. I'm burning your building down. That's the only reason.
Yeah, that might be it. My star has 5 points.
It's funny. It was some dude was saying, some pastor was on a podcast and he was talking about they weren't talking about revelations. It was a pastor who started this church to get decently big, but he's an expert in what do you call that? Near-death experiences. And they basically said something about like the end of the world. And he said, well, it says in the Bible that only Jesus knows when the end of the world's going to happen and all that. But it did something in Revelations about like, and all men of all faiths and creeds, races, or blah, blah, will form in one country. And that's kind of what Israel is. It's like, seriously, like Jews from all over the country and all races and all creeds and all that shit moved to Jerusalem. So, as time goes on and as I get older, it seems more and more like we are actually living in a simulation and we're getting to the end of the game.
Exactly.
So that might be an episode too.
Yeah.
That was fucked up and stupid. And I'm pretty sure they blame that on Bibi Netanyahu as well.
Somehow I guarantee there's video evidence of it happening, but there's some pro Hamas person being like, no, that was the Jews that did it.
They're just trying to make us peaceful Hamas people look bad.
And the last thing I had is an actor, I can't remember his name now, was killed in New York. He was on some soap opera. What he did was somebody was stealing his Cadillac converter out of his Prius, and he yelled at him, and they shot him. So, good job, New York. Those guys are probably running free while they persecute Trump. These guys will get nothing. These guys will be maybe caught, then released immediately.
Be caught, and they'll be released without bond and then not show up for trial.
Yep. And that's
New York is big enough to get away with that.
Yeah, I mean, what I see, Cadillac converters like theft in Los Angeles was up 790%. Throughout the U.S., it's up like 820% because people just aren't charging people for it because,
Well, the problem is because that's a problem in down here too, but scrapyards need to stop buying them unless you can show like the the VIN number of the car, and like you take it into the car that you, for whatever reason, took your catalytic converter off. But that's how you stop it. People need to stop buying them. And that's what some scrapyards will not take catalytic converters.
Good for them.
I mean, it's like there are people cutting off DPFs off of trucks. Those things are, fuck, you can probably get $1,500 for those used. And if somebody cuts your DPF filter off, it's like $3,500 to $4,000 to replace.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So
Are
it's
they scrap? How much are they scrap for?
about $1,000.
Oh, no shit.
They got a bunch of precious metals.
You know what they didn't have to do was even regulate fucking fuel emissions and.
I don't know if it's a real thing, but apparently one of the reasons why the trucks in the United States are so big is because the emission standards put forward back in the day were based on size to emission ratio. So instead of cutting emissions, it just made the vehicles bigger.
No shit.
Well, think about it. An F-150 is the size of a 1990s a Ranger is the size of a 1990s F-150.
Oh, yeah.
And now an F-150 is the same size as a Super Duty.
Yup.
Other than length.
That makes sense.
I mean, it might track.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it's like how companies like if a car company, so if the United States comes out with some, or the EPA is like, your emission level's got to be this much percent. Well, what they do, like Ford and all these other ones, like, well, here's our electric car, here's our hybrids. So all of their emission savings offsets their gas ones. And that's how they do it.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's all about offering. So, yeah, there's workarounds for everything. So, yeah. I don't know what that has to do with it
that's
getting killed in New York, but,
That's a fun fact.
Fun fact of the day. Learned it from the fat electrician.
Is it a fact?
I don't know. He kind of sounded like it was. It's a fat electrician. He seems to know what he's talking about.
All right. Well, I'll take it as fact then. Fun fact. All right. Well, now it's my favorite part of the whole show. Josh, what time is it?
The white slur of the week.
Oh, yeah.
What's a honky?
All right. White slur of the week. This week is Tiny Tim. This references to white people having smaller penises. So, if you want to make fun of your white friend, call him Tiny Tim, and it's going to be about his penis.
And how small it is.
If he doesn't get it, just giggle and just know that you just said he had a small penis.
All right. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all I have this week. Josh, you want to put anything else in there?
No, I think that wraps it up. I think we're on a shaky road moving forward as a country. Hopefully that turns around. And hopefully people in this country wake the fuck up and decide that their current comfort status of being lazy, worthless pieces of shit is not worth totally destroying the future for their kids, nephews, nieces, whatever.
And on that note, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Josh.
And this was The Lost Art of Common Sense.
Common sense!
Common Sense!
Common sense!
Common Sense! We're a banana republic! Buy our shit.
Buy our shit. And remember, don't be boring, be a pirate. We'll see you next week.